Hello and welcome back to the Orlando Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Russ, and today we have got two very, very special guests. Two very special guests returning to the podcast. We have got Ashley and Emma. Welcome back to the podcast.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having us, mate. Once again.
Yeah, my pleasure entirely, genuinely. And I just said it before we kind of click record, but like we talked about Halloween Horror Nights an awful lot in our first episode, and I loved it. And ever since that first episode, we were talking about doing another one, and getting this episode sorted. So I'm so glad that we're doing it, and it's so great to speak to you both and see you both again.
We're looking forward to it, mate. As soon as you asked us to do the specific subject, we knew that we could speak a lot about it. So we're looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, fantastic. And I suppose for anyone who potentially hasn't listened to the first episode or hasn't engaged in your content so far, who are Ashley and Emma? What is Ashley and Emma in terms of your Instagram and your YouTube?
So we are a UK-based couple who have been married for just under a year. It'll be our first year anniversary at the end of this month. We've been together for
11 years.
And
Emma knows this straight off the bat.
I remember these things because of and we have been vlogging and documenting our Orlando trip since 2016.
Fantastic, amazing. I suppose I'll address the regards to the trip, because I'd love to get into future trips. All right, and I like, it's almost like the elephant in the room. I don't want to like it to be a dampener, but at the same time, you did have a trip booked. So if I could be wrong, but you were either meant to be out there now, or you were like a couple of weeks ago, was it?
Yeah, September. So we were due to go out on the 21st. No, the 19th of September.
Yeah,
we were due to fly out. However, we found out we were having a baby, so that trip got postponed.
Yeah, amazing. Well, obviously, congratulations and fantastic news. So I'm so happy for you both, so excited for you both. And it's a different chapter, you know.
It definitely is.
Definitely going to be a different chapter.
Yeah, it came to a shock to us because we found out you were pregnant
when we was at Disneyland the day before his birthday.
So that was, and obviously, as much as we would have liked to have gone on this trip anyway, obviously the things we were supposed to be doing, hence the main reason we were going, as we said to you, was for Halloween Horror Nights. But obviously,
there was a lot of we did intend to go, like we were going to go regardless. Because to be honest with you, I didn't mind not being able to go on anything. However, the one thing so my non-negotiable for the trip was Halloween Horror Nights. And actually, I couldn't do anything at Halloween Horror Nights.
No.
There's advisories for us to not do anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was kind of...
It was a last-minute decision,
wasn't
it?
Yeah. To be honest, the day after we were meant to pay it, I called to see if we could still pay it and go. And British Airways were like, oh, no, sorry, it's been cancelled. So they were like, we can rebook it. However, it's going to be an extra like £800, and we were like, "Yeah, no, it's
no." We made a decision, and fair enough, and like completely understand it. But as I'm sure there'll be future trips. There definitely will, and those future trips will be different, and like different in such an exciting way as well. So whenever they may be, it's exciting. So
we're looking. It's going to be a completely new experience for us, but it's an experience that we're looking forward to. So,
100%. But obviously, I wanted to get you on to talk about Halloween Horror Nights because I know that you both love it. So even if you're not out there, it hopefully it's not rubbing salt in the wounds. But like, hopefully it's nice to be able to at least come and talk about Halloween Horror Nights. And I really wanted to hear about your previous experiences with Halloween Horror Nights. And I suppose I've put quite a few questions to you with regards to it. So the kind of first question which I put to you was when did you both first do Halloween Horror Nights together then?
So the first ever Halloween Horror Nights was 2014. So we weren't vlogging. It was just a one night, and it rained all night. And
we got washed out, didn't we?
I ended up buying a pair of shoes at Universal,
Right.
and putting my other shoes in a locker, and I had to keep like changing them because it was the rain was that bad.
Yeah, we had to buy jacket. We had to buy.
Jackets,
we ended up buying
yeah.
more merch than what we were intending because we had to buy the jackets and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So,
but that's where it all started, really.
because you saw a couple of years before,
what had happened was the year before we'd gone out there for the first time together, and I've always been big into horror. It's always been my thing. I wanted to do horror makeup for my job, didn't I? Like I was at college doing horror makeup and stuff like that. And we'd gone out there and we were driving. It was either the 192 or the I4. And there was just a really big billboard with a sign, Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, Walking Dead. And I said to Ashley, can we go, please? And he was like, absolutely not. Then like we came back and we looked it up, didn't we? Because I was like, I'd really like to go, even if it's just for one night. Like it's my sort of thing. Like
so I get in and I said, look, we'll
go for one night.
I know how much you want to go. We'll go for one night. We'll see how it is. We did a bit of research and seen, you know, what it was about and what houses were available. There was a couple like, oh, we really want to go because you at that point you were really into Walking Dead, weren't you?
Really,
right, cool.
That was like the headline house for that, yes. But obviously we went there, we did as many houses as we could, but we got absolutely washed out.
And it was great. Like
we fell in love with it.
Yeah.
It was something what I'll say, because it's quite a known event now, but then it was dead and it was so good, and it's just something so different to the usual day in the parks.
Yeah.
So we went and we had a great time, didn't we?
We had a great time.
It was really good, and then that led us on to go in all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's amazing, and I suppose like I think you kind of already answered it, but I was going to say what was it that kind of made you do it? But like seeing that billboard the first time, and Emma, like you were saying, with kind of like really being into horror films and like being into like horror makeup, that kind of stuff. I mean that's amazing, and especially with like something like The Walking Dead, kind of seeing that and that being the draw to get you into the park. And I think I'm a big Walking Dead fan as well, so I totally relate with that. I totally relate that would be such a big draw, and I think that kind of it leads me on quite nicely to the next question, which was from that year then, the first year that you went to Halloween Horror Nights. What was kind of like the most memorable house from that first year you did?
I remember The Walking Dead.
I think that was the one that stood out.
Yeah, I think that's what I went for, didn't I? We went to just see what it was like, to be honest, because like most Halloween things here are nowhere as close. But no, The Walking Dead really, really drew me in. I really enjoyed that house.
We did manage to get a few houses done because obviously as the weather was, everyone was obviously diving into the houses, so the queues were quite long. But we managed to do Walking Dead, Halloween, Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
And I think we managed to do one more. I can't remember, but
such a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
Walking Dead was probably the best of that year.
I mean, I was very apprehensive going in because I was like, I wasn't really into horror films when I met Emma.
Right.
Since I've been with her, I've really got into horrors. But
it's all to be honest, it's all like if people say to me, "What's your favorite kind of film?" or like, "Do you like this comedy film?" I'm like, "No, I'm not into stuff like that. I only like horror films or horror series and stuff." So you've really got into that sort of stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, I must admit.
He hasn't really had a choice, to be honest.
No, that's fair enough. That's cool. I'm just intrigued. That Walking Dead house, what was it based on a specific series, or was it just kind of like?
So
how was it?
They were doing them based on the series from that year.
Yeah.
So it would have been based on. I'm not gonna lie, I stopped watching it a while ago, but
yeah, fair enough.
I think it might have been. I think it might have been. Is it season 4 when they're in the prison?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It could be completely wrong, but
it's 3 or 4. Yeah.
But one thing I will say was the detail in there was amazing. I can remember because I think that was the first one we queued for. Because I think what we did is we had if I remember correctly, we had the day at Universal, because at this point we were just going with my grandparents, who I will admit, unfortunately my nan's not here anymore, but they weren't really Universal people because they couldn't do any of the rides.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we'd gone off for the to Universal for the day, and we did Stay and Scream.
Yeah.
So we queued for Walking Dead first, and that's the first one we went into. So we went in it kind of blind, and it was so good.
Yeah, because for anyone who doesn't know, the Stay and Scream part is a lot like what they do at Mickey's Not So Scary. So you go in, you show your Halloween Horror Night ticket, they send you to a specific section of the park,
right?
Because I think they still do this. There's sections of the park that are allocated to a house.
Yeah, to certain houses.
So if you're in that scare zone, the first thing you do when Horror Night starts is you go straight to that house. So you get a house done straight away.
Yeah.
Nice, that's cool.
And while they're doing this, obviously they're kicking everyone out of the park that hasn't got tickets, and then
the scare zones
come out. Horror Nights officially starts, and it goes from Universal Studios
to Halloween Horror Nights.
Halloween Horror Nights.
The only thing with Stay and Scream is you miss the opening parade at the gates.
Yeah, that's the only downside.
But if you want a specific house doing,
then that's the way to do it. Like literally, yeah. It's one of those, isn't it? Like if you can get your kind of main one kind of done, then you're one ahead for the night, then, aren't you? So yeah. So potentially a bit of time saved standing in queues. Kind of going on from your first trip. How many times have you both done Halloween Horror Nights together now? Then
5 times.
Cool, nice. So obviously you've become big fans, big fans of Halloween Horror Nights. Yeah,
big fans. I think the first time we went, we got the bug, and then the next event we didn't. 2016.
We weren't there for 15. We went at a completely different time of year because we went with your family.
We did, yeah. So that was unfortunate because that was HHN 25, so obviously the 25th anniversary. So we missed out on seeing the main icon, which is classed as Jack the Clown. So we've unfortunately never seen him. We've always missed him. So, but we did a 4-year stint of from 2016 to 2019. So we made on that little run of theirs, and it's just
love it. No, amazing. I honestly, I love talking about it because I think I said this in the first one. Like, I really want to do it. I really do. I like genuinely like. I'm sold on it. You sold me in the first one, so I'm like I'm itching to do it. Don't be wrong. I'll be absolutely bricking it, but like I'm so up for it because I see how immersed people get in this, and like the theming of stuff and some of the IPs they pull in, but like just it seems like such a great event for everyone involved.
It really is. Like, it's amazing how much detail they put into all the scare zones, but even everything around the park. When you walk into it, it does not feel like you're walking through Universal Studios. It feels like you've gone into a completely different completely different event. And don't get me wrong, like with Mickey's Not So Scary, we love Mickey's Not So Scary. Don't get us wrong.
We do that as well.
But I think everyone can agree with Mickey's Not So Scary. You know what you're walking into. You know it's pretty much going to be the same event every year.
Yeah.
But Horror Nights is just
it's different every night. Because they have different actors.
Yeah. So they're not necessarily like situated in exactly the same spot doing exactly the same thing. Yeah. Their interactions are different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
just so unique. And I suppose kind of with that, what's probably your favorite aspect of HHN then? Is it the houses, the scare zones, obviously the food and drink options? Some of those are wild as well.
I'll be honest with you, it's actually for me the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because it's just, although you're walking around and people are jumping out at you and like scaring you, the vibe in there is just so good. And like you could be on one side of the park, like you could be at not Simpsons, but let's say you
could be on Hollywood. You could be
where's the bit that's got it comes out at Simpsons, but there's like a little walkway. Is it New York?
No, it's you're thinking of Men in Black, aren't you?
No, before that, where all the pumpkins were that year.
Mel's dying. Yeah.
So you could be there and you can hear chainsaws from the other side of the park. and the
That's wild.
atmosphere is
Yeah.
just so good. Like the houses are good, the scare zones are good, but I suppose that all comes in with the atmosphere anyway. But for me, it's the atmosphere.
Yeah. Like the amount of, obviously with the houses, obviously they have a handful based on franchises, but they also have their original houses as well. So they put a lot of work into all of them. But I'd agree with them. I think just the atmosphere, because even if you're not really fussed about doing the houses, the scare zones and just the atmosphere alone is worth the money.
Yeah,
So,
amazing. Yeah, just and I suppose like creating that atmosphere and like everyone kind of, you know, feeling a little bit on edge and a bit like, you know, but excited, and your adrenaline's kind of pumping, and like I think again, that's such a cool thing and such a unique thing to this event that obviously makes it special and unique in itself. And my next question I had was, if you were looking at kind of like the houses from this year, then was there a specific house that you kind of like the look of the most? Was there something that was standing out to you?
Insidious.
Right.
We've watched the Insidious franchise at least 6 times.
Yeah.
It's some of my favorites, like horror films. And the thing is, every time we rewatch them, we still get scared.
Yeah.
There's still scares in it that you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And like, we've watched people's TikToks on it, and that people were saying it was scary.
Right.
And I've watched a POV through it, and it looks insane. It looks.
It's like straight out the films. Like I said, going back to the level of detail, you feel like you're in the films, and they do that for pretty much all the franchise ones. Like when we've seen Ghostbusters, Exorcist, you feel like you're in the film, but that adds more of a scare factor to it because you feel like you're in that film.
The stuff we've seen from it looks insane.
Yeah.
I'm really sad to be missing that.
Yeah. Oh, it's a shame. It's a shame. Have they done an Insidious one before, or is this the first and only time they've done it?
They have done Insidious before. I'm pretty sure they have done an Insidious one.
I'm pretty sure they've done one. I think they've done one before.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sorry, this is me just like asking questions coming to the top of my head at this point. Do you find that like the ones based on like an IP are better or like different than the kind of like original ones? Have you found that to be a thing or not really?
I think with the branded ones or the franchise ones, you kind of know what you're going in for because you've seen the films, or you I think there's a bit more of suspense with their own because you don't know what you're going into.
You're just going off a house name and
what they've described
and what you see on the entrance point.
Right.
You're going in there completely. Unless
anything could happen, kind of.
Anything can happen. Anything can jump out at you, and everything. Because with me and Emma, there's a routine about the houses, and this is how we go. We always take a backpack with us when we go to Halloween Horrors because you don't know if you're going to buy merch or anything like that.
Yeah.
I am always the one that goes in front, and Emma holds on to the backpack behind me, ducking, and then I'm the one who has to go. There's a guy there. There's someone going to jump out there. So
there's one that you didn't have to do that on, but we'll get to that one later.
Yeah. So I'm the guinea pig. I get most of the scares. Emma gets just a little bit of it. So
nice. That's the best way, though. Surely. What's the best way for Emma?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I would say I wouldn't be able to choose which one's better because there's a suspense with the Universal ones because you don't know what you're going into.
Yeah.
What you do for the ones you'll have watched the films, but then the ones that are based off the films are so detailed,
and it's an anticipation of what you're actually going to see.
I would say they're both very different.
Yeah, but like unique and good in their own ways.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was just intrigued to hear about it, and wicked. I've got a little section, and we didn't have this section when we did our first episode, and this is called Keep, Update, or Close. And I thought, you know what, let's try and keep a bit of a Halloween kind of spooky theme. So I've given you the 3 spookiest rides I could think of, which ends up being really, really mean options, if I'm honest. So the 3 I gave you were Haunted Mansion, The Mummy, and Tower of Terror. And I'm so sorry, because honestly, they're all like top tier rides to me.
They really are. Like when you sent me the email, I read it out to Emma, and I read in the brackets, "Tell me if I'm being mean." As soon as I read them, it's like, he's really being mean.
I just looked at him and was like, how are we meant to choose between those?
It was tough. I'll let Emma go first.
Go on.
I would keep the Mommy because it's one of our favourite rides at Universal.
Yeah.
I would update Haunted Mansion, and I would get rid of Tower of Terror.
Nice. Interesting.
Yeah. I would also keep Mummy because it's one of our favorites. But obviously, it has recently obviously been refurbished, so it's the most up to date. The next two were, it pains me because I know I have to close one of them. I would update Tower of Terror. The only reason being is because obviously they've changed the one in California, but the Orlando one I feel is the original. Like behind the original, and plus you can't walk down Hollywood Boulevard in studios and not be in awe of that ride. So unfortunately, that would lead me to close Haunted Mansion. And the reason I would do that is, I know, it really hurts me.
Yeah.
The only reason I would say that one is because after going to Phantom Manor in Paris, I personally feel that Phantom Manor is better than the Orlando one.
Yeah. Interesting. Nice. You gone kind of just opposites on the update and the close then. Well, if you could update Haunted Mansion, Emma, what would you do to it? So I'm probably putting you on the spot. Like,
I just think perhaps some of the animatronics could look a little bit better.
Yeah, just like a bit more up to date and a bit more kind of fresh, I suppose, isn't it?
And I agree with you. In Phantom Manor in Paris, you can actually see a lot more. As where Haunted Mansion in Florida is quite dark.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, very true. Yeah.
Yeah, I said to you last night, didn't I? I said, I'm going to close Tower of Terror because I can take or leave if I ride it or not. So,
no, I get you. But then I also get what Ashley's saying. Like in terms of the ride, it's iconic. It's iconic to look at, like you said, walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and it's an icon. If you could update Tower of Terror, then what would you do to it? Do you put the Guardians overlay on it, or do you keep it as as a spooky kind of theme? Yeah,
I would keep the theme. The only thing I would do is probably like the same as Emma's with Haunted Mansion. I'd just give it just like a little refurbishment, like because obviously when you go onto the track and it's rickety, you feel like it's this could do with a little bit of a smoother transition, but I suppose
that's part of the ride, though. It's meant to feel like that.
I would just update. I would just give it a little bit of a refurbishment, just to give it a bit more love and keep it going for as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, nice, good shouts, and to be fair, like justified with your answers as well. Like obviously, I was mean, and fair play to you both that you've answered it as well. Like, yeah, nice. I like it. Good shout. Next question, I kind of sent across to you, and this was interesting because obviously there's rumors of Universal Studios coming to the UK. And with that, they have basically said if they were to bring it to the UK, they will bring Halloween Horror Nights, which is interesting because that's big. Straight off the bat, they're going, you know what, we might bring a park, but we're going to bring one of our best events to the park as well, or our best event. And with that, I asked you the question: if you were kind of both in control of the houses, what ones would you put there if you were kind of given complete creative control? And that could be previous houses, there can be IPs like potentially that haven't done before. What kind of stuff do you think you would put in there?
Definitely the Conjuring movies.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'd put those there. Probably the second one because it's actually based in the UK.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, good shout.
I wouldn't want to just keep it like English based films.
No.
But
I agree.
Yeah.
I'd definitely bring Insidious, the one they're doing now.
Yeah,
I'd bring that.
But I'd probably look at like American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, good shout. Classic.
I'd like them to carry on doing their Universal houses.
Yeah, like some original ideas and stuff. I think I just think in general that it'd be a fantastic idea, because obviously just bringing a Universal Park to the UK anyway,
yeah,
it would increase obviously tourism for the UK, which is great, but it'll also give everyone a chance who unfortunately can't make it to the US, to Singapore and obviously places like that. It gives them a chance to experience Universal anyway, but also gives them to experience Halloween Horror Nights and see what all of this hype and just praise for it in general.
I'm trying to think what else I'd put in the houses.
There's
so much.
Yeah, this is it. There's so many, isn't there? And like it's difficult because also like it depends when they were to do it. Like, you know, if it was 5-6 years time, a different franchise might have come out, and like we're only speculating on like stuff that's come out already. But yeah, I mean, like obviously if they brought it to the UK, it would be huge. Like there's absolutely no question it would be the biggest Halloween event in the UK. So like and they know this, and that's why they've already said it, because they're like, you know what, if we can do this, we basically get to go, we're putting our mark down, we've got the biggest event already. Like, and I think of like something like Fort Park. Do you ever do like the Fright Nights and stuff at Fort Park or anything like that?
We haven't, but I keep trying to get my work to go as a work outing, but they're not.
Nice.
A lot of them are like, absolutely not. Couldn't think of anything worse. We haven't done it, but I'd like to do it.
Yeah, just to see what obviously the UK has to offer. UK theme parks have to offer.
Yeah,
the Halloween event. But whenever we spoke about doing it, lo and behold, we knew we had a trip coming up to Orlando.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, you got one or the other, and it's like every time, isn't it? Yeah, 100%. Nice. Yeah, it was just a thought of mine, just because I'd seen it come up with Universal potentially saying about HHN in the UK. I thought it'd be worth, at least just asking the question and putting it to you both. And I normally round off every episode with kind of like my 5 main questions, but obviously I've mixed it up, because there's no point asking the same questions because I've already asked them before. So I've obviously put a HHN spin on the questions. So for you both, what has been your favorite house from HHN over the years then?
To be honest with you, there's so many good ones that we've seen, and like I said to you before we came on, I did write notes.
Yeah, it.
I just had to refresh myself with obviously the houses that we have seen. The ones that come off the top of my head, Stranger Things were great houses, because Universal smart, they utilized on the height of Stranger Things popularity. They thought they'd bring it to Halloween Horror Nights, and it just worked. And again, the detail that went into those houses was just unreal. So Stranger Things pops out to me probably the most. I'll go with Stranger Things for mine.
Yeah, and which year was that? Sorry, because obviously has there been 3 different houses at this point? Stranger Things.
Yeah, so there's been 3 different houses. We went to the first 2, so we went to HHN 28 and 29.
Yeah.
So I believe obviously the first one was based off the first series, and obviously the second one was based on the second series. Unfortunately, we couldn't go to the last one, which was obviously based on the 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, but one of the years did 2. I'm fairly sure that was the case.
Yeah, they skipped a year and then they went back to Stranger Things. So we went to the first 2 seasons of the Stranger Things Horror Night houses. So, and I was just in awe, because we love Stranger Things as a series anyway. So just going around those houses was amazing. So, I'm going to say Stranger Things for mine.
Yeah, nice. Emma, what house are you going for?
Mine was American Horror Story.
Yeah, was that? Yeah. I mean, that's like, I'm thinking of the franchise. That's like proper creepy stuff.
No,
isn't it?
They what they've done is, because they did that over a couple of years as well, didn't they? But they did on this one. They'd done, I think, seasons 3 and 4 in one house. And in this house, because I'd watched all the series, I walked in front of Ashley and we went through this bit, and I had this guy like this close to my face, and I was just laughing. He was petrified. He was like, oh my God, I don't like this, because it was like strobed. You couldn't and I was just walking through like, oh my God, this is great, because I really like the series. So I knew what was coming, because I'd watched it all. We walked out and you were like, was you not scared in that at all? I was like, no, not one bit. But for me, I think that's probably one of the best houses I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Like you said, with like the strobes and stuff, kind of like disorientates you a bit. And just like you've kind of like lost your bearings a little bit. Yeah. I mean, that's cool.
It's good though, because in these houses, if you do feel like that, there's always there's always an attendance in the thing.
Yeah.
And in the strobing rooms, I believe they have like the light up buttons.
Yeah.
Them. So you've got us, and there's exit signs everywhere. So you know where you're going. So even though obviously the main aim is to obviously make you scared, you want to feel like obviously you're safe as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They get you is you go from a really dark bit into the strobe. So it's like you'll come from pitch black and you'll go through a bit and it's just like lights everywhere and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that one for me is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Good shout. Good shout. And going from favorite house to favorite snack then. Favorite snack seems to be a big part of HHN.
So we'll be very honest. We don't really eat the snacks.
No, fair enough.
We tend to buy every year they do like a speciality cocktail.
Yeah,
nice.
Special glass. We usually go for those, don't we?
Yeah.
We usually eat before we go.
Yeah, good shout.
I think we've tried the pizza fries and obviously bits and like some of the desserts and stuff, but the one we always go to, because like Mardi Gras and everything else, they'll have these like food huts or like pop-up bars and stuff all around the parks. And every year they do a specialty cocktail in their little glass that lights up, and
we got loads of them.
We collect these things. We're weird.
No, it's wicked.
It's just so
something we do
every year, and it's just that little treat that we have walking around the park.
We usually end up in Moe's or Mal's or something for food, don't we? Like,
good shout. No, I like it. I like that. I like a speciality themed kind of cocktail, but that's wicked
as well. Before you go, if you're a bit nervous, go to Fat Tuesdays beforehand.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to take those into the park.
No,
but I'm talking they're like huge drinks of like slushy alcohol drinks.
Yeah,
like the drinks over there, they're not poured lightly, are they?
No, they're proper. Yeah,
yeah.
Certainly take the edge off. Yeah. Good shout. The next question I put to you was most surprising house. So in terms of surprise, in terms of like you potentially didn't have high expectations, and then you went into it and you're like, oh my God, that blew our minds in terms of what it was.
Did I say last night? I don't think I did I? What mine was?
No.
I think I've got what I know. I think I know what mine is now.
Oh, no.
Mine was Ghostbusters in 2019. Okay. So I went in it thinking this isn't going to be scary.
Because Ghostbusters is kind of funny, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, it's more comedy. Yeah,
it's based off the original film.
Yeah, so I went, and it wasn't scary, may I add, but I went through it and was like, oh yeah, this was what I expected, and I got right to the end, coming out of, you could see the outside. And the Slimer jumped up out of nowhere and scared me. I was so scared, wasn't I? I was like, oh my God, I didn't expect that. And I sort of came out and I went, actually, that bit at the end really makes the whole house.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect it.
Just kind of like lulled you in to go, you know what, this wasn't scary at all. Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
Mine, to be honest with you, mine was Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
In 2019. The only reason I say that is because the year prior it was a scare zone, and it was hands down.
No, I think that's another question, isn't it? Scare zone.
It might have been. I can't remember.
Might have been. I'm pretty sure it was.
Well, I've started now.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you go for it.
So yeah, the year prior there was a scare zone, and it was between, if my memory serves me correct,
it was near the old movie shop where they sell all the old movie merch.
Yeah.
So it was between there, and it was, I don't know about how Emma feels, but that is hands down my most favourite scare zone out of the entire
best scare zone out of all the Halloween Horror Nights we've ever been to. It was the best scare zone.
The costumes and just the theming was just amazing. So when they announced the house the following year, I had not low expectations, but I said, I don't know how they're going to be able to top the scare zone, because everyone was just going through it all the time. It was the most popular one, but the way they built the house and the way you went through it, just smashed my expectations. So I was thoroughly happy when I came out of there.
Yeah, good shout. And I suppose we might as well go for it. What was your kind of favourite scare zones then?
Killer Clowns.
Killer Clowns. That was the one. Yeah,
Killer
100%. I remember seeing this on like Tim Tracker videos. I remember it. I remember it like really well.
Scary at all?
No.
Like it wasn't. But the vibe in that scare zone, because they had like. Have you ever seen the movie?
No, I've never seen it.
So cheesy. You need to watch it. It's great. It's so good. It's not scary at all. But like you went through this scare zone, they had the theme song playing. The clowns are walking around dancing, and then they just like go for you, and you'd be like, oh. But it was so good. They interacted with people so well. You could get photos with them, but they were still scaring and dancing. The colours, everything they'd done was just so good. And like, I'm actually scared of clowns. I don't like.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
But it was your favourite area. Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it? Yeah, love that. I mean, that's wicked. And we got one more question, and this is for me, to be honest with you. And it was: have you got a top tip for anyone who's never done Halloween Horror Nights? Go on.
I
go in there with an open mind.
Yeah. Go in there with an open mind.
And if you drink, have some Dutch courage beforehand.
Yeah, that's one of the best ways to get through it the first time.
The only thing I would say is if you have the opportunity to go with a group of friends or go with a small group of people, I wouldn't say it's better than just going as a couple, but especially if you're going with people that haven't been before and you feed off their reactions and stuff, and it just makes the experience so much. But if there's a group of you, it just makes it more fun. You have a proper laugh, and it just makes that experience a whole lot better. But I would just say, in general, if you're thinking about doing it, don't hesitate. Just go for it. Even if you just go for one night, I promise you, and I'm saying this to you too, Russ, because I know how you want to go. I've spoken this before. Once you go,
you won't want to not
you
go.
Won't.
Be hooked
as many times as you possibly can.
Yeah, good shout. I love it. And like I said, we're planning to go October next year, and it's happening. We're gonna do it. So yeah, off your recommendations, we're gonna do it, and we'll see how we get on.
I don't want you to message us on Instagram saying I hate you and things like that, because we are prepping you for this, and I think anyone that's been a guest or just a listener in general will hopefully agree with what we say. And honestly, once you go, you won't want to not go again.
Yeah,
Halloween, the best season to be in Orlando.
Yeah, in our opinion.
Yeah, in our opinion.
Yeah, nice, love it, absolutely love it. Well, that's a lot of questions. So I appreciate you. Obviously, like you kind of going to doing your research on your previous trips as much as anything, and kind of looking into the old houses, and hopefully it was good fun to kind of look into them as well and reminisce the old houses. So yeah, I've absolutely loved it. I really have, and it's been so good to speak to you both again.
Nice to speak to you too.
Yeah, thank you for having us once again. And again, I know I've said this to you on messages, but just congratulations once again on honestly how successful and how much the pod has grown since it first started, and
well deserved,
and we will continue to support you as any way we can.
Yeah, I as I always say to you, I appreciate it so much. I really do. I love making the podcast. I always enjoy it, and for this exact reason, I love speaking to people and like being able to meet people such as yourselves. And to be able to do our second episode, and it's brilliant, and it's like jumping onto a call with friends, and I love that. I really, really do. So I feel very lucky to be able to do it. I really do. So this was the HHN special with Ashley and Emma. Once again, thank you so much to Ashley and Emma for coming on the podcast. It was an absolute pleasure. I love talking to them. They are two fantastic people. They really, really are. And honestly, their passion for Halloween Horror Nights and for horror and everything to do with it is the exact reason why I wanted to get them back on. Thank you once again for both of them for coming back on. I hope you've all enjoyed this episode, and I will speak to you all in the next one.